Mr. President, we would like to welcome the participation in our meeting of the Permanent Representative of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Mr. Kim Son. The Council today has become involved in yet another discussion on the initiative of a number of Western countries. This discussion on the situation on the Korean Peninsula. It does not bring us to stabilization in the region, but takes us away from it. But there is a difference with previous requests for such meetings. It used to be that a meeting was called for every time when DPRK would undertake measures to react to military provocations from the United States and their allies. Well, today, what we have on the agenda is the issue of a one-year mark since the panel of experts under the Sanctions Committee 1718 stopped working. The group had discredited itself completely because they were involved in collecting biased information from Western mass media and also looking to purchase expensive purses from expensive small boutiques. In other words, the issue having to do the organizational aspects of one subsidiary body is on the agenda, but not an issue having to do with maintaining international peace and security. We have never heard those who called for a meeting today ever suggesting a memorial service or even a discussion of the work of similar expert groups under other countries. This way, what we are seeing here is an open abuse of the Council resources so as to turn its attention away from the root causes of the escalation on the Korean Peninsula. Instead of listening to yet another series of speculations from pseudo-independent experts who openly state on their website that their work is to promote the UK security interests, instead of that, the Council should turn to the immediate factors which are destabilizing the situation in the region. And the main factors there is a growing military presence of NATO countries in Asia and the Pacific, with this presence systemically destroying the prospects of building a collective security architecture outside of the alliance there. On the 24th of February, the 3-week full-scale military exercises between U.S. and Republic of Korea, CALPEX, came to an end. They included 2,000 troops, 150 units of military materiel, including a nuclear submarine. There was some maneuvers which took place 25 kilometers from the DMZ, which could very well have been read by Pyongyang as a military provocation. In the recent months, Washington's appetite to increase the military presence in the region continued growing. According to leaks in the mass media, the Ministry of Defense of the United States continues considering the possibility of deploying in South Korea of 20 nuclear-capable F-35A Lightning II fighter jets. Let me recall that they used to be used on a temporary basis in the course of joint exercises. In case this decision is made, then the Allies will have a far greater operative capability, taking into account that Seoul has 40 F-35As. At the same time, there are plans to increase the number of F-16 Fighting Falcons, whose objectives is containment. And altogether, this can provide for a critical air supremacy in the first hours of hypothetical conflict by striking deep inside the opponent's territory. And this makes me underscore the fact that the United States, Japan, and Korea, the countries I'm referring to, are amongst the 10 states with the largest military budgets and who have the most advanced, most destructive battle-ready equipment. This very well-equipped and coordinated alliance is literally trying to corner one independent sovereign state, which then is trying to find solutions to ensure its own security. Pyongyang opponents can talk about the fact that their actions are not prohibited under Security Council all they want, but such cynical statements do not square with the Security Council requirements to resolve the Korean Peninsula issues using dialogue and diplomacy only. What we are witnessing in actual fact are direct and consistent violations by a group of countries of their international violations. Let me make a separate mention here of something that is in direct contradiction with the UN Charter, namely a decision by 11 countries to establish the so-called multilateral sanctions monitoring group on DPRK, which is suggested as a replacement for the panel of experts under 1718. Let me underscore here that this mechanism was used by circumventing the Security Council and therefore does not have a legitimate international mandate. And everyone understands that whoever pays for something determines its outcome. Therefore, any product which would come out of this format will have no legitimacy, and we doubt this not at all. They will be fraudulent disinformation. Russia, in turn, has on several occasions proposed initiative to de-escalate and to strengthen mutual trust on the basis of taking into account the legitimate security interests of all parties involved into account. Furthermore, on April last year, the Security Council had on its table the Russian draft resolution to extend the mandate of the panel that the Western countries are now shedding crocodile tears over. Together with this proposal, we'll also propose that we have a candid dialogue in the course of which there would be a regular review of restrictions and looking for political solutions, which is something that's an inalienable part and parcel of Security Council resolutions on DPRK. As an outcome of this, the United States and allies essentially rejected this and on their own stopped the mandate of the panel of experts. Well, what's done is done, and you only have yourselves to blame. When it comes to cooperation with Russia and Pyongyang, well, we have voiced our position on many previous occasions. DPRK is our neighbor and partner, and we're developing our relationship in all areas. This is our sovereign right. The Russian interaction with DPRK is in line with international law and is not against third parties and is not a threat for states in the region or international community. And Russia will, of course, continue developing such cooperation. The DPRK units participated in the liberation of Russian, let me underscore, Russian territory. At the same time, Moscow and Pyongyang was acting fully in line with international law, in particular Article 4 of our Strategic Partnership Treaty between these two countries, which provides for an immediate assistance in case there is an armed attack on one of the parties to the treaties. And we're very grateful to our Korean brothers for the assistance they've extended to us then. The Security Council should drastically review its approach to make sure that we take the situation out of this dead end instead of compounding it further. We have stated many times which areas we should first start normalizing. But in order for this to happen, the Western capitals should change their mindset, which continues being based on the Cold War paradigm. And the sooner the West ends this outdated outlook, the sooner the Council will be able to exert a positive influence on the situation in the region. I thank you.